Now, if you look in the background, you'll see I dropped this post on Instagram, and it caused quite a bit of arguments amongst everyone because everyone has their own opinion and thinks theirs is better than everyone else. But when it comes to the faces of these franchises, I think some of these are spot on and others are highly up for debate. If we start off first, Spider-Man being the face of Marvel. I don't think there's many that would disagree with this. Even if you don't know Spider-Man's history, his background, or what he's about, he's a recognized character by millions across the globe. He's an international icon, and his stories have garnered such a respect. He is the backbone of Marvel. I mean, that's why you see him overly used. He has so many shows. He's probably the most rebooted character when it comes to Marvel cartoons. And he also is the highest, seat filler when it comes to the MCU. His movies constantly pull in money and constantly sell merch. But if you look outside of that, the only reason I think someone would say they're picking someone else other than Spider-Man is because you're a fan of just the MCU. If for those that came in and only saw the Marvel movies, starting with Iron Man, I think you seeing that character for over 10 years has built that love and respect. So to the point where you feel Iron Man is the only acceptable answer. So, and I can concede that if we're talking MCU, yes, Iron Man would be the face of it, even though Spider-Man's slowly starting to creep over and take that spot. So even then, at the end of the day, Spider-Man's taking over. So I will not accept slander on the Spidey GOAT. He is top dog, and this is 100% accurate. Now, when it comes to the face of DC, I feel the same. I feel the same for the most part. Batman being the face makes complete sense because for DC, he is the most rebooted character when it comes to their cartoons. He has got the most shows out of everybody there. He has gotten the most rebooted movies. He has been a part of almost every major story arc in some capacity, and he has the biggest plot armor out of any character in that universe. So it's the only thing I will say outside of him that possibly you could argue Superman is just as big and just as deserving. And I think DC knows that too, and that's why they're always pairing them two together. That's why you have the series World's Finest, because they're such an iconic duo that them being paired together is just instant money. It's always a win for them when they do it, and that's why all these stories involve the two of them. They're always at the middle of it, at the core of it is those two. So I think it would not be a stretch if you say Batman and Superman are the face of DC. Now, I can get it if you just pick Batman, but I think if you say that, it's just because that's your favorite hero. Otherwise, you should be have no bias in this and be able to easily declare how both of them are equally important to the franchise, and they both pull it along. That's why you keep seeing new Batman movies and new Superman movies or Superman projects. But when it comes to the face of anime, now this one I know, I hate to admit it, but anime fandoms are probably some of the worst fandoms, especially when it comes to One Piece. Now, I do feel One Piece is the face of manga. They keep putting out numbers, ridiculous numbers at that, and they keep pushing the bar further for what animes can do and get away with. Now, when I dropped this video on Instagram originally, Luffy was just featured in the collab with him and Lakers, which is huge. I haven't seen no one else. Like, yeah, Dragon Ball has had commercials, but it's usually for products and food-related things. But I haven't seen them do like such a product placement where they're being featured with a sports team to that degree. And that makes them, One Piece is doing things that puts them worthy of the conversation, but I wouldn't give them the title of the face of anime. Because if you think about it, for people that either watch anime or they at least know of it, aware of it, they've seen Goku and Pikachu. I feel it's kind of like a DC situation where these two characters are probably the front runners for anime as a whole. A lot of people, elderly people, know who Pikachu is. A lot of people have seen that little electric rat, and they are aware of him. May not know the details, the story behind it, or even his name. And the same could be said with Goku. Goku is such a monumental character, especially overseas, that a lot of people have seen him and may not know of him. So I feel it's fair to say that both of them could be the face, but I understand if someone would say one over the other. I think both are acceptable answers. And putting Luffy in this, he's not there yet. He hasn't done anything that I would say puts him on the level of Goku or Pikachu. He has crazy achievements, but he's not there yet. And I'm saying this as a One Piece fan. I don't hate it. I have no bias against it. I don't make the complaints that most fans do when they watch the show. But I'm still saying he's not the face. But if now we get on to the most egregious one of them all, the most heinous, saying that Ben 10 is the face of cartoons. I feel whoever wrote this was on something, because there is no feasible way that you would make that claim about a character. That the show, I'm not against the show. When it first came out, I loved it. I watched like the second version of it. I didn't watch the most recent one. And I still love it as a concept, as an idea. Great show, great idea. But what has it done to put it as the face of cartoons? If this was a court case, what are you pleading to say that this show deserves that title? Because this question is one that's a generational one. If you pick different eras, you're going to get a different answer. But I think for the most part, most of us that are cartoon watchers, we watch a little bit of everything, the old stuff, the new stuff. I would put up there SpongeBob, The Simpsons, Tom and Jerry, Looney Tunes, Scooby-Doo. There's so much other ones you like. I would think before Ben 10 even comes up in the conversation, there's at least 20 shows I would probably pick if I sat down and went through it. And how has Ben 10 contributed or impacted the industry like these other ones? Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry. Even in One Piece, we can see they have influenced and inspired things to happen in that story. Gear 5 is a testament to old school cartoons. So Ben 10 being picked doesn't make no sense because he's not even the face of Cartoon Network, which you would have a better time arguing for that versus saying the face of all cartoons. If we go by who's got the most longevity, Simpsons, longest airing cartoon that hasn't been rebooted at that. Scooby-Doo, long running cartoon, rebooted numerous times. It's going to keep being updated. Your grandkids are probably going to know what Scooby-Doo is because it's still going. Mickey Mouse, only reason I'm not putting him in here because he's more head of an empire. You don't really see a bunch of shows with him. He has shows, he has work out, but it's not a consistent thing. He's usually just at the helm behind the scenes doing stuff. So I won't include the mouse. Now, his empire, yes, but I don't really feel that's right because then that's getting into movies. Like if we're thinking prime Disney XD, I'm putting shows like Gravity Falls over Ben 10. There's no rhyme or reason for you to pick Ben 10. Other than it's just your absolute favorite and you think everything else is trash. I wouldn't even put Ben 10 in my top 5 of Cartoon Network. Maybe my top 15, but not my top 5. So, I mean, but what do you think? Clearly, this is a subjective opinion. I'm not making it definitive, at least with the face of cartoons. The other two, Marvel and DC, I'm saying that is an objective fact. There's nothing you could tell me in the comments that's going to change my mind on that. There's no one that's more the face than Spider-Man. There's no one more the face than Batman or Superman. Don't at me.